Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you on Thursday, January the 6th, the year is 2022. Let's talk trading. Trading is a skill, part 4. This video is for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. Talked about practice, working on things. Now, there's something as traders, price doesn't move in a straight line. It goes, if it's going up, it goes up and down kind of in waves or zigzags, however you want to describe it. And when it goes down, it just doesn't go straight down. It goes down and it zigzags. So when you're looking and evaluating your trading, how well you're trading, don't think you're going to go in a straight line. You're going to go up and down. Maybe during the day you have some winners and losers, or during the week you have some winners or losers during the month. And in other words, just don't expect to have, an ascending line. You're going to take some losses. You're going to, have a bad day every now and then. That just happens. You're going to have easy days, tough days. So, and that's part of the brain management that we talked about. So you have to have realistic expectations. It's like you don't expect to, start with $1,000 account on Monday and be driving a Ferrari on Friday that you bought and paid for, a brand new Ferrari that you bought and paid for with your winnings, right? I mean, is it possible? I guess if you're really good, maybe you could turn 1,000, into $500,000. But just, I think that would definitely be an outlier. Just don't expect that to happen on a regular recurring basis. Looking at the month, and for the year also, we just turned red, I saw. In fact, I was talking with Walt earlier, and I said I was kind of waiting for price to get down here and just crash. So we'll see what happens. Okay. Let's see. I was talking on the weekly. You can see we're right around the weekly open, which is also the monthly, which is also the yearly open. So right now we're kind of looking at a doji. For the day, we came back into the opening range for the year, and we actually cut through the yearly midpoint. Now we are above it by 8 pips. So you can see here now we're below the opens by 4, below the daily open by 32. We actually got into that inside bar from 7 weeks ago, and you can see we're now 9.7 pips above it. So we got back above it. Lots of inside bar action still. Actually, not as much as it has been. So it looks like some of these pairs are breaking out of that inside bar range that they dropped into. On the day, only 69 pips on the pound, but we've got, let's see, 3, 6, 7 other pairs that are over 100 pips. Buy zone, we just was definitely no buys. We're all shorts. You can see in last hour we crossed above the daily open only to return back down. Red rats feasting at the moment. We actually, it's like we hit the pivot and reversed. So R1 short near pivot short. So pivot trading plan paid off today. We took out that daily pivot. Still haven't missed a weekly pivot from a couple from last year. As far as the month, we've still missed it by 19 pips, so we haven't quite hit it yet. Okay, in and out of that upper wick zone, in and out and back in and through the lower wick zone. And you can see back in and out. So a lot of action between the wick zones here. And so if you're tracking this, you can see looking at the H1 closing outside there. Let me switch this over. Oh, wrong. Let me switch the time frame to daily. And so you can see on the daily, it'll close outside 71% of the time, or it has closed outside of the wick zones. So before I had it set on the hourly, but at the end of the day, this is usually what happens. We close outside of the wick zone, 7 out of 10 times. On the higher low, lower high scalper, you can see we put in a 3-ball at the bottom. We had enough pushes. We had enough range. We had horizontal here. And we're now 7.9 pips to the good above that on that reversal here. Look for it to hit the 35-37 area and we'll see what happens. Wall mall lines. This hour and the previous hour, we definitely had the range, but then there was 2 hours, not much range. And then the previous 4 we had, or previous 5, we had over 20. So you can see we were range bound for a couple of those hours, but now we've been breaking out. Wall mall lines definitely paid off, both to the north and to the south. As far as ATR, we're right near that open again. It keeps alerting me. We haven't hit the ATR ranges. You can see we put in the last H1 put in the high of the day. You can see there's a bunch of trades here where holo rat trades, 1, 2, 3s are setting up. And you can see here it keeps alerting me every time it hits it. And if you're using this indicator and that's driving you nuts, you can turn off the alert every time. And it'll only do it once per bar. So you can see there it didn't alert. Actually, I think I might have it doing it once per minute, not per bar. I have to look at the code to double check that. Now, we've been talking about practicing trading as a skill, what to work on. And today, as I mentioned, you want to have a realistic expectation that your path is going to have ups and downs. You might take 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And when you take a step back, in trading, you have to see, is it something that you did or failed to do, or is it just part of what's to be expected? Sometimes trade just goes against you. You did everything right. You went with the candle color at the line, and then it went against you. I mean, that's just what happens sometimes. So if you were to go short right here, right at that open, it could either go your way, goes against you. What's your trading plan say? Does it say take the first touch, the second touch? Don't do it after the second touch. You just have to focus on your plan. Does your plan say you just take every trade and see what happens? I mean, right now you'd be up a couple of pips, 3 pips. Because in trading, you don't know what's going to happen next. It's not up to you. Once you put the trade on, it's money management, it's risk management. That's all you can do. There's nothing else you can do. So when you really think about it, when you put a trade on, you're saying, I've got an idea that price is going to do this. It's going to go this way or it's going to go that way. You might say, I think price is going to go down. You put the trade on, but it's an experiment or it's an educated guess. Because every time you put a trade on, you're testing your method against the real world. And sometimes it's going to work and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's going to pay off a little, sometimes it's going to pay off a lot, but you don't know. And you have a belief, and you just have to see if the market confirms your belief. I mean, that's one way of describing it. It's belief confirmation. I have to laugh because it sounds funny, but that's really what trading is that you put a trade on, you believe something's going to happen. You don't know if it's going to happen or not. And you see what happens. So, for example, we saw this go as far, it was what, 6 pips below? And if you didn't take your pips, well, you just gave half of them back. And maybe you say, okay, I'll get out now, and then maybe it comes all the way down here, and then you're ticked off, right? But see, you don't know. You just have a belief. Maybe you say, okay, I think it's going to go real far. Worst case scenario, I'll take 1 pip. I'll get out with a pip. And maybe that happens to you over and over and over again. But the thing is, every time it happens, you're 1 pip further ahead of the game. So you see now, you're down to that 1 pip, up a little bit less. And you just have to decide, as I've mentioned, in previous videos, what kind of trader are you? Oh, now you're right back to where it started. So you had an opportunity to take 6 pips. Did you? Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But this is what trading is. And all the fancy squiggly lines you put on the chart, it's not going to make price do anything. If anything, those are for entertainment purposes only, right? But, some people like to do that to give them the confidence. Just, what do I do for confidence? I look at statistics, percentiles, right? That's what I do. I come up with ideas, trades where, the statistics just say, well, if you do this, chances are these other things going to happen. That's just how I prefer to trade, all these statistics. So anyway, just remember, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is TheRumpledOne, over and out.